the village actually being evacuated, and we don't know
Right.
when that's going to happen. So we'll keep an eye on that, and if Mary hears anything, we'll report that.
So that is a huge thing that we normally lean on, the evacuation of the village. Remember, Boca Chica Village, right there, about a mile and a half from the launch site, cannot have people in it during launches. That is inside the no people zone, I guess you could call it, the hazard zone. And
Oh, I
so, in
like that.
order, yeah, the no people zone.
Yeah.
In order to do a flight, they have to clear out that village. And one of our NASA spaceflight team members, Mary, Boca Chica lives there in that village, one of the very few people who actually legitimately lives in the village, and she is not evacuated yet. So when they evacuate Mary, we will certainly know, and evacuation is a very good sign that they will be pushing for a launch today. Now, another thing that could happen is we could see the SpaceX website get updated. Sometimes we'll get the official live stream, I guess, on the website. Sometimes that has like a go live time, and then the T0 is really quick after the go live time. We haven't seen the SpaceX website get updated yet either. Of course, sometimes since we're doing this live, I'll say that out loud, and then somebody will refresh the webpage and it'll be there. But as of the last time I checked, which was recently, there was no official stream listed on the SpaceX website. So missing two of the things today, missing the evacuation of the village. The residents are still there. They have not been cleared out, and missing that official SpaceX stream. And I think we talked about it, Chris. You gave some spoilers there at the beginning. The big thing that we're worried about is weather today, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Very, 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 very much so.
Gotcha. So we have you can see on the camera that it's not a clear day right now. It's completely overcast. Apparently, there's a very high chance of rain. Scattered thunderstorms basically all day long, hopefully clearing up in the afternoon to evening times, which is perhaps what SpaceX is trying to go for here, knowing that it's not great right now, but continuing to march towards the possibility of an afternoon or evening flight as the weather hopefully clears, blows out, etc., etc. Maybe that's what they're doing. But if we hear about the village being evacuated, and if we hear about, or if we see that SpaceX has updated that official live stream, we will certainly report it here. Also, any other information. I think one other bit of information we looked at in the past, Michael, is the FAA notices. And I think there was an FAA notice saying that they were still going for a flight today, right?
Yes, so both that and the road closure going into effect tell us that a launch is still possible. I did not say the word likely, I said possible. It's kind of hard to say what the probability of a launch is today. It might be in the, 30 to 40% range if I had to throw a number at it, but that is still a chance, and there's always a chance, and if it launches, you do not want to miss it. So while there is a probability that is greater than 0 of a flight today, we will stay live, and then if it gets firmly ruled out, we will report that as soon as possible and let you know so we do not waste your time. But as of now, there is still a chance of a launch today.
All right, that is what we do. Just about every time there's a launch day, we go into sort of stakeout mode where we go live super early, we hang out, we watch Starship, we see what's going on, and we give you live reporting of what is happening, whether there's a new FAA thing that occurs, whether there's a village evacuation that doesn't happen. That's what we do. We're live. We all want to see this thing go, and we will provide you the hottest, freshest artisanal updates. Fresh from, I guess, wherever we get them from, like refreshing web pages or whatever, right?
Handcrafted, lovingly.
Handcrafted.
Artisanal, organic, non-GMO.
Excellent. So I think we could all agree. We hope it doesn't launch in weather like this, right?
No, definitely not.
But if SN11 proves anything, it's that they totally could, which is a bummer. But if you're familiar with Vandenberg or any launch site with tricky weather, I mean, even IFA, I'm sorry, I'm going to bring up IFA, the SpaceX in-flight abort test, what was that, March of last year? Famously went straight into a cloud.
Yeah.
January, thank you. Went straight into a cloud right before the explosion and made a whole bunch of people big sad. So,
wait, what? It went into a cloud? I didn't see that. I saw the explosion.
Yeah. DOS.
we weren't all on boats with cameras on gimbals magically looking through a hole in the clouds.
You've got to spread out your camera assets. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, there's a reason we do that, for sure.
Yeah, seriously.
So
That being the prime example.
exactly. That's why we have so many different cameras from so many different angles.
Is that something venting at the tank farm?
Let's see here. Yeah, there's
And-
a little bit of a little bit of venting, but let's see if we can get.
But
a
that's
closer
just
here.
yeah.
They can't.
Well, at least something that
really
maybe
see it.
they're starting preps or something, because they can certainly do things while people are still at the pad.
Yeah, some venting from the tank farm, much like the grass vent. Some venting from
Yeah.
the tank farm is normal. On a regular daily basis, you'll see the tank farm venting from various locations, and I don't see. Just checking a couple different angles here. I don't see any venting.
There's also
Go ahead.
that tanker truck on the left-hand side
Oh, there is.
filling up. So there's often venting when they're filling up the tank farm.
There we go.
Yeah, that's a good point. Michael, can we zoom this camera in on that?
Yes, we can. If only I was able to do that. I will take a look at that Starship food. It looks like it's probably nitrogen, if I'm going to guess. I think that's connected to the nitrogen tank. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but they are filling up those tanks ahead of testing operations today.
Yep. So there you go, Chris. That truck, the tanker truck there, connected to the tank farm, is a good reason that we would see some venting there. But we're like connoisseurs of venting. Like some venting, we're like, nah, venting, whatever, it doesn't matter. And other venting, we're like, oh, the recondenser, all right. Got a couple hours watching tank farms. There's actually a lift up on Hopper as well. It looks like they may be working on some of the sensors and cameras there on Hopper.
Oh yeah, good eye.
Yeah.
We're like venting sommeliers. Like, you know, this is a 1972 recondenser. It was a very good year for methane.
Hey, you know the thing that we didn't talk about yet? Last night, there was a lot of back and forth as to, well, is there going to be a flight? Is there not going to be a flight? The weather's bad, but the road's closed, et cetera, et cetera. And we were all watching that flight termination system. So now that Michael zoomed this camera in here, it's reminded me that the flight termination system is clearly installed and visible there on SN15. You see the temperature. Yeah, here we go. Michael's going to move the camera around. The two little white boxes about the middle of Starship there, not the one white box that's by itself up a little higher, that's an antenna. The two white boxes, they're just about the middle of Starship. Those are the flight termination system. I guess the right way to say is charges. And those were not there late last night, like all the way up until about 9, 10 o'clock local. And then we saw that lift go up and into 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock hour. Those flight termination systems did get in, or termination system charges did get installed. And so that was another sort of linchpin. That was the last thing we were all waiting for last night. Is this going to go? Is it not going to go? Geez, who knows? The fact that the flight termination system is on there means that SpaceX is making an attempt. They wouldn't put explosives on there unless they were trying to prepare for a potential flight today, right?
One would hope.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I find it interesting that they would install the flight termination system the night before thunderstorms. I can't imagine Starship, which is the tallest thing around, I guess, except for the high bay and mid bay, it being good for it to be hit by lightning while it has 2 packs of C4 attached to it.
Especially if I'm up on a lift installing those packs in the dead of night. I mean, they're clearly trying to get prepped for a flight today.
I wonder, Jack, if that was done purposefully before, so they didn't have to